your recent decision to leave the Labour Party? Is it that bad that you were so tired of the Labour Party to dump it?
Have you read the letter?
I have.
You are wrong. I challenge you to tell me a paragraph that said I dumped Labour Party.
So what have you done?
I said I am a member of Labour Party. I will join forces with the stakeholders, which include NLC and the NTC stakeholders, to fight to consolidate Labour Party. That is what is in that letter. For the first time in your life, Sheung, you misconstrued the facts.
You inferred in that
letter
letter
to you
Mr.
that you have
Okonkwo,
not read that letter.
I've read the letter. I can read words out of the letter for
Please
you.
proceed.
Just for a moment.
Yes.
You
or maybe you
infer.
read it like a journalist.
Nah, journalists are even more detailed than lawyers.
Just give me a paragraph.
Some journalists are more. I will read it to you. Just for a moment.
Yes.
You inferred in your letter that you were tired of the status quo.
I did not see the word status quo, so you have to elucidate.
So what do you mean in your letter? Can you explain to Nigerians what you mean in your letter?
You ask the question.
And I'm asking you again.
I do the answer.
So in your open letter, can you simplify it in simple terms?
Yes.
What exactly in the status of the Labour Party that you're complaining about?
Good. There is nothing I complained about in the Labour Party. I said Labour Party ought to be consolidated. Now let me summarize the letter. The letter is titled Political Journey to a Great Nigeria. In view of the fact that PDP and APC have failed to give us the great Nigeria, and in consideration of the fact that we must move on, I have decided to chart a new course. I am no longer comfortable with the philosophy of calm down. My principle has the philosophy of calm down. No, we cannot wait forever. And I said, I've been waiting for Labour Party to be consolidated through decisive leadership by my principle. And the delay is bringing anarchy to Labour Party. So I have to proceed to do whatever I can do, joining all the stakeholders to bring the solution for Labour Party and consolidate it. Now, let me concede that I said that I have different temperament from my principle. I've never had any personal grudge or disagreement with my principal.
Which is Mr. Peter Obi.
Absolutely. Indeed, I love and cherish him. And not just that I've never had any personal disagreement. I will never have any personal disagreement. Why? Because I've never made any personal demand from him. Not one. So it is not possible that we will ever have any personal grudges.
Does it mean that he doesn't have a fault?
But that's where I'm coming from. That's why I said we differ in temperament. Now, a P2B will say, when he meets an issue, you know, my brother Ken, meaning, my brother Ken, what you're saying is the truth, but take it easy. Let us take it easy. Now, a Kenneth will say, Kami felege mo dogu if he came. Instead of the mighty being drenched in shame, let a strong thing happen. Now, in the issue of Labour Party, you have an Aburi who is constituting himself now as a nuisance. And Peter Obi, as the leader, came out and said, don't do that Congress. Don't organize it. I am not part of it. That there is an agreement which you signed to do an all-inclusive convention. Don't do it. And he will not attend. And Abure will go ahead and do it. And Peter Obi will still be saying, oh, calm down, let us calm down. And Kenneth will say, punish these people. Because if you don't punish them, anarchy will come in.
Anarchy looms in the Labour Party.
Absolutely.
Not in Nigeria this time around.
Good. And you know what? Jurisprudentially, the philosophy behind punishment is not in the pleasure of the state or the parents to inflict injuries on their citizens or their children, but for deterrence.
So you disagree in the style of Peter Obi in the handling of the leadership of the Labour Party?
That is where we disagree fundamentally.
Have you taken him up personally on this matter?
Very well.
So he knew,
and publicly,
he knew your position before you wrote that.
Whatever we talked in confidence will remain confidential forever. I simply do not agree with the way he does things. Let me tell you the advice I give to my younger ones. I say, Look, in this world, if you become too bitter, people will spew you out. If you become too sweet, people will lick you up. You have to find a way to be bittersweet. Now, P2B is a man who wants to be too sweet for everybody. He is a man who wants to appear too sweet for everybody. And that is why they are licking him up. Because when a sweet thing is in your mouth, you lick it up.
So it's too much of a Mr. Nice. And Mr. Nice is not the way to go in politics.
In my own definition, yes. Unfortunately for me, I am not a dove. So I cannot succumb to the temptation of painting myself a
So
dove.
you want a stronger arm in the dealing of the leadership situation in the Labour Party.
And in Nigeria,
which Mr. Obi is not doing.
By his temperament, and I wouldn't want to push him. I'll tell you one thing that happened. There was something that I needed to tell him. I am very close to my principal. He cherishes and loves me a lot, and I return same. And I gave him those things to do. And I told him it is urgent. So maybe he forgot to do it. Maybe he was taking his time. Then that thing happened. Then he called me and said, can he get push him now? Can he get push him now? He's a pleasant guy. You know what? Ken, you would have pushed me now. You would have pushed me now. I say, sorry, sir. When you are pushing your guy, you have to be careful. Because from where I come from, if you ever push him mistakenly and he falls, that's a cow that you give the whole community. So you see, when you differ temperamentally with your guy and it's affecting fundamentally your relationship, then you would have to give way. Nothing personal.
You said that
Yes.
Peter Obi just needed to give the right directives and everyone will fall in line. You went further to say, I received my very first shock when he publicly declared that he did not promise Nigerians to build a strong Labour Party, but to solve Nigeria's problems. There are those who say that is what we are talking about.
Yes.
The incapacity of Peter Obi to be able to take strong decisions, in politically speaking, might dovetail into governance also. He should become a president. This kind of problem might occur. Are you worried about that kind of temperament that you're complaining about?
That is exactly why I said I am no longer speak for him. And the reason is simple. In Nigeria, I can assure you, except something happens, there will be no free and fair election because our electoral jurisprudence has been overthrown. It is dead. So when you're dealing with incompetent and corrupt people, Mr. Nice will no longer be enough because they will never again do a free and fair election. So if you want to contest, it is not enough that people give you the vote. You must have to grow to the level that you're willing to fight. I'll give you an example with what happened in Senegal. Mr. Faye is now the president. This guy fought the government, resisted every attempt. At the cost of his life, he was put in jail 10 days before the election was when they brought him out. Because of what? Resistance. Because of what? Protest. If you're not willing to put your life on the line, if you're not willing to accept that you might go to jail, you will not be able to confront these people. The judges are looking at what is happening in the street. When in Senegal, the constitutional court saw the determination of the people, the president has already overthrown democracy. He has already cancelled the election. He has already shifted the date. But when he saw the resistance of the people and the determination of the fire who was willing to die, they had to reverse everything. The constitutional court had to immediately say that the president cancelling the election is null and void. They went into election and the Senegalese voted for a prisoner who they believe has integrity than the president who they believe lack integrity. Let me tell you, a lot of people are saying, I want to push P2B to violence. And that is why I'm quietly saying, no, I don't want to speak again.
So you are no longer P2B's spokesperson?
Yes.
And you don't want that job any longer?
No, I don't.
Because you don't believe in his style?
Absolutely.
You think that he should be firmer as a leader?
And more decisive.
Well, I mean, isn't that a problem? Because if he gets to become the Nigeria's president, doesn't the Nigeria president need to be firm? And you see that as a vulnerability of Peter Obi?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because my problem is this. When I was speaking for him, I don't need to tell you that I'm aware that everything about me is online. Everything about me is on the line. But I courageously went on. Why? I came into politics because of the welfare of the people. Let me tell you a little bit of little history from PDP. When I went into PDP, the first election I helped to embark on was the one that brought in the governor of Enugu State, who happened to come from our place. When we finished the campaign, he called me. I said, look, you have been so nice to me. You invested, you contributed. What's your aim in this? He's still alive. I'm talking about my brother, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. He's still alive, and that's why I'm saying it, so you can confirm. So when he called me, I said, what do you want? Because you have invested your money, time to campaign for me. I said, our people are suffering. We are from the same place. You can see the level of suffering. And you know how much I involve myself in philanthropic issues. And it's not enough that when people have power, they have the ability to do more. I said, please, take care of our people. If I must serve, it has to be for the people. He's still alive. And when PDP went the way they went, into anarchy, I told the world, look, I had a meeting. I collected the youths. We went to PDP headquarters. And I told them, the next convention is the last convention I am going to give you people. Organize a very good convention. The youths are still alive. And I told the youths, if these people do not organize this convention the way it ought to be, I'm done. I don't make statements twice. Olisametu was the person who received us in the national office of PDP. In the next convention, they compounded the whole issue from one appointment to the other. I told the youths, this party will never recover. And I left PDP. When I left, and for you to know that, I don't defect. I leave a party by what is happening in the party, not by what another party is willing to offer me. When I left, I was partyless. It was about 6 months or something. And I saw how APC, technically, by their own term, defeated Boko Haram. I saw their manifesto. I read it. 1 naira to $1. This and that, this and that. Beautiful manifesto. I said, wow, these people say they are progressives. And I saw the way they sacrificially was able to come together. 5 powerful organizations. They were able to organize themselves to come together. And I'm talking about the new PDP, the ACN, the CPC, the half faction of APGA, and the AMPP. 5. And they were able to come together, sacrificing everything, and form a powerful, strong party. And they were able to dethrone the incumbent. I said, this is fine. This is very exemplary. That was why in 2016, when they were making overtures, it was beautiful. I entered APC. The last thing I did for APC was in 2018. And you know what happened? We were doing the convention at the Ego Square. I was in charge of the stage. That was why when you watch the picture, where they always bring out picture of myself and Tinubu, that was when I was organizing the event. I was the only person standing on the stage. I was at the extreme of the stage. But they mischievously now with their camera brought me as if I was the ADC standing by his back. You know what happened? On the last day of that convention, they left 4 million naira in my account. They did not even remember. I called my boss then in the APC. Sorry, there was a mistake somewhere. This money does not belong to me. And I returned it. And when I entered APC, you know how much APC is in the Southeast? I hired a secretariat for them in my ward. I got a secretariat for them for my local government. And I was single-handedly paying for it all the way. In my life, I have never lobbied for a political appointment.
Is it because you don't want or because you have not gotten it?
In my life, I have never lobbied for political money. You should understand that I always have a choice of too many things at any time. I would want to serve in a Nigeria where I will be able to walk in the street and everybody in the market loving you and hugging you because they can see the sacrifice you're making as a human being. Leaving a party does not in any way, especially in a country that is corrupt and incompetent, and you're in search for the soul of Nigeria. Leaving a party does not in any way have anything to do with your integrity.
So your integrity is still intact?
More than intact. Obi left APGA for PDP. PDP for Labour Party. Does that affect his integrity? Atiku's own is uncountable, so let me not even count it. From PDP to AC to PDP to APC to PDP to APC to PDP, uncountable.
I mean, there is a way Obasanjo handled the politics of the PDP when he was president.
Yes.
That's the kind of way you would have loved Peter Obi to be firm on the Labour Party. that kind of style, a military kind of style.
No, Obasanjo was dictatorial. Even when he finished as president, he wanted to forcefully continue to be the chairman of board of trustees, and they threw him out. No. I just want decisive decision. Let everything be done in order.
Your complaint about Peter Obi, is it not a discredit to him? And he's not firm enough as a leader.
I wouldn't know what you mean discredit.
The followers who believe that Peter Obi is all perfect, is the 100% person that Nigeria needs. Yes. And you have come, as close as you are to him, you have come to fault him. And you're saying he's not firm enough. Isn't that a discredit to Peter Obi's person who wants to be Nigeria's president? No, how will you tell Nigerians? Because I don't know if you still believe that Peter Obi could still be Nigeria's president.
I don't speak for him.
So you don't know. You don't trust him to become Nigeria's president.
I said what I said. And what I said is this. And hear me again. I said, I do not believe that in an incompetent and corrupt society like ours, that will not give us free and fair election, that will steal the election. I do not believe that when they steal his election, he would have a commensurate force, like a Faye in Senegal, like an MKO, who came out, declared himself president on the basis of an election he believed that he won. He was willing to go to jail. He was willing to die. I said, I don't believe that he has that kind of mentality. And I believe that that is the kind of mentality that we want.
I cannot continue to speak on behalf of a leader.
Absolutely.
And I do not know his stand on issues of great importance.
Absolutely.
How can Nigerians believe in that kind of person?
No, I don't speak for him. What I'm saying is,
but you have preached him to many Nigerians. That's exactly. You said he's the best person for the presidency.
As far as 2023 is concerned, Peter Obi is still 100% better than Atiku and Tinubu.
But going forward, you don't think so?
Going forward, Atiku, Tinubu, Peter Obi, they should step aside.
Really?
Yes. Because if the other party, they steal, as I know they will steal the election, this other person will not have the commensurate ava to take back that mandate, whatever it will cost. Let me tell you my belief. If these kleptocrats know how to grab power at all costs, stolen one, snatch power at all costs, fight for it at all costs, and run away with it at all costs. I want a man who have the commensurate mind to be able to grab his victory at all costs, fight for it at all costs, snatch it
to be vehement.
At all costs. Vehement is your victory. People died giving it to you. You can't give it up, even if it means giving up your life. And I'm not supporting violence. I'm just giving you an example. When MKO did what he did, was he violent? When Faye did what he did in Senegal, was he violent? When Martin Luther King did what he did, was he violent? When Mahatma Gandhi did what he did, was he violent? But they achieved it.
But have you found an alternative? You said no. Peter Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu should step aside ahead of 2027.
Yes.
So have you found an alternative?
No.
Or we should expect Kenneth to go?
Leadership evolves.
Should we be expecting Kenneth to come?
I have not accepted to take any post. And that is just the truth. I am looking, that's why I'm objective in searching. That is the truth.
Since you said you will not leave the Labour Party,
no.
Who then is left
until I am sure that it's irredeemable. Labour Party is not irredeemable now. Labour Party is the party of the Nigerian workers. I've always preached for the welfare of the workers and welfare of the people. Labour Party, by its constitution, is composed of students' union, market women, traders, Nigerians, workers, and the welfare of the people have always been paramount. It was a party that was founded by NLC. They were the ones that founded it, and TUC. So there is no way, if these unions exist and they throw their weight behind their party, that these miscreants can win. No. So I don't believe that.
So the question here is that there are those who will say the present Labour Party is synonymous to Peter Obi. Peter Obi is synonymous to that.
It's not true.
That the fact that they won the seat that they won or gotten the vote, it was because of the personality of Peter Obi. If Peter Obi exit Labour Party, it will not have the shape and form it presently have in winning any kind of vote. Labour Party going to Lagos State and defeating Bola Tinubu in his own backyard was because of Peter Obi, not because of Labour Party. Are you worried about that?
Labour Party has produced a governor.
And they say it's because of the Obi factor.
I said Labour Party had produced a governor.
In the past?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Olusegun Mimiko.
So a party that has produced a governor.
But never been able to come to the national stage and come third in an election.
Let me put it this way. Do not ever diminish the impact of a Peter Obi Labour Party. Don't. It is phenomenal. Don't just look. I told you that I have my great respect for Peter Obi, but this is my fear. Assuming Nigerians again come out to invest their votes and their will to him, will he be willing to put himself on the line? Will he be willing to want to die for it? That I cannot answer. And that is what Nigeria needs. The next election will be written in the government houses. If you do not have a man that will stop it before it starts happening. That was happening in Senegal. They stopped it before it started happening. Somebody was willing to die. I have told you, the difference between the temperaments is just a matter of style.
Are you an Obedient?
You mean me? Obedient is not a political party.
Well, it's a movement.
It's a philosophy.
It's a force.
That's what I'm saying. It's a philosophy. Now, Obedient has done its work in 2023. Look at look at what I would have thought would have happened immediately after 2023. We will now let Obedience know that time has come for them to come into Labour Party and to strengthen Labour Party, because it is a political party that you must run on. But if you're a leader and you believe Obedience are not members of Labour Party, that means they have the right to be in every party. So if I say I'm an Obedient now, and one Obedient say he's APC, it will be ascribed to me, because we are all part of the.
Let me ask you this,
so
Mr.
I am saying, because of the amorphous nature, I can no longer say I am Obedient. Assuming all of them now came into Labour Party, as I thought we would have done immediately after the election. If Peter Obi, for instance, believed in building a strong party, he would have brought in all the Obedients into Labour Party and consolidated it from the world level. And that's just a suggestion.
So now you are a Labour Party member, not an Obedient.
I'm a Labour Party
moment,
member, yes.
But not an Obedient right now.
No.
Are you worried that the Obedience will come after you?
If I put my life on the line, campaigning for a candidate in the opposition against the ruling party,